That's never going to happen.
Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time. He's got him. Side touch is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Perfection. Expect nothing else. Do you like to make yourself a hot cup of coffee to start your day? We have both whole bean and grounded. Also great for all you iced coffee if not a hot kind of person. Even make yourself a frappe to quench your thirst. The best tasting coffee with espresso. It's only $18.99 plus taxes for a 12-ounce bag. Buy 1 to 5 bags and shipping is only $7. If you spend over $100, shipping is absolutely free.
Hey, good morning. It's Tuesday. Week 4 is in the books, fellas.
Just got to drink it in a real cup. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the best way to drink the coffee, in a real cup.
Yeah, a real cup for a real.
What's up, fellas?
We missing someone? I believe we are. Let me bring them in. Oh my God!
Hear anybody?
He's all the way. Where are you? Luca, where are you? Luca's like,
Luca.
dude. He's like, where are you? Budapest?
Oh, I think
What up?
He's at the. He went across.
Where are you
you guys
today?
play,
Are you in
they
Budapest?
They play in England. They play over there, right?
Can you guess where I'm at?
You're overseas, right?
Budapest. He's in Budapest.
I don't know.
Or are you in
Budapest.
London? Budapest. I thought it was Budapest. Yeah.
Yeah, he said Budapest.
I can't hear right now, so I just wanted to say hi. Just show you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I saw Lucas post this morning.
You guys have a good day.
Awesome.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Fucking guy.
And Jay, we do get some Lions representation. It's sometimes we have Smoking Jeremy B in, but
Yeah,
right
and
now
we
he's
get
usually eating
Raiders.
breakfast.
And we get Raiders and we get Falcons and we've had Dolphins fan on. We've had,
What's up,
I
Matt?
mean, we're
Good morning,
really
buddy.
all fan bases are welcome. Morning, Matt.
Good morning, Matt.
I mean, we let you line fans in here.
I mean, let you guys talk. I mean, Jesus. What else
I
do
mean,
Lions
just
fans
let's
want?
hear it, man. You guys played good last night. Your quarterback balled out. He fucking lights out, fucking unconscious. Fucking what the hell? No, not even a bad pass. Not even one bad pass last night, bro. Not a throwaway, nothing. Fucking Goff. Who figures?
Hey, well, everyone can, I saw a post this morning that reminded me that everyone can have a good game. Because on this date, some odd years ago, Mitch Trubisky had a 6-touchdown game. So anyone can have a good game.
Have a good game. Yeah. No, it's proof. But it's true.
Yeah, we all post to each other's pages, Jay. It's like called support. We support each
We're
other.
one big family here.
Yeah.
Okay, man. I mean, we will talk shit on your team, and you can talk shit on ours, but
Like Matt's already doing it with the
It's
FTL
friendly.
up there.
Yeah, fucking Matt. That
Yeah,
guy Matt
and-
Henry in there. FTL. You see that? Fuck the Lions.
Yeah, jeez, Matt. This early in the morning.
Yeah,
I mean, I
he
even
starts
get-
every day. Every day it's usually FTL, FTP, FTV. He's usually got them all up there.
UPS, USPS. I mean, he's got them all.
Those
FedEx.
fucking- Call IRS, Matt. You fucking
Dude, you're
Miami's
not
New
wrong.
England team, they're fucking
You are
horrible.
not wrong.
How can Tua be that important to the team that they look so inept without him?
But I mean, doesn't that just
They
show
look
though, like
inept,
everyone
bro.
for all the trash people talk about Tua, and then you see what they look like without him, and
Yeah,
then
they're
like,
trash.
and here's the thing: people who are like, saying what you're saying right now, like, wow, this team looks terrible without Tua. If he comes back, they'll be like all of a sudden, they'll be, yeah, Tua's not that good of a quarterback. They're not that good of a team because Tua sucks. And like, dude, weren't you just saying that? Like, it's funny how fandom works.
He plans on
Tua.
playing. I get it.
I mean, we're 2 weeks removed from the concussion.
He's on the pup as soon as he clears
2 more
4 weeks. Yeah, he's got 2 more.
That's what I was about to ask, Matt. I'm like, do we think he's going to come back?
I
haven't seen
think
any
he does.
indicators.
I think that's why they're holding him. That's why he's still on the roster. That's why he's not doing nothing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do think he comes back, but I think it's a mistake. This guy's going to end up getting seriously hurt from it. And when I say seriously, I mean like lifelong type of stuff.
Like DeMar Handler kind of shit, bro, from last year, bro. He could drop dead on the field, take a shot.
Yeah, but the Mars thing is completely.
Yeah, his was a hard thing. I get it. It was like the perfect hit at the perfect time on the perfect beat. I get that. But you could still get knocked out to the point where he's unconscious and gets carted off the field, man, and never regains consciousness. I mean, it could happen. I would not want to risk that. Fuck that.
I didn't think it was a 6 week. I think. Matt.
He's not. They were talking about it last night. They were like, "Look, he wants to be out there. He's feel like he's letting down he's got a couple more weeks to go, and then he can."
Yeah, I think it's like 2 more weeks and he can come back.
Yeah.
Like week 6.
I was like, what the fuck, man? No way.
Morning, Philip. Hey,
what's up, Philip? Go Pack, go, baby.
Philip. Hey, Philip, I had a question for you because you had come in with GPG this morning. How does it feel to be the only loser in the division this week?
Don't listen to that.
I was going to say it still feels pretty good after the 4 turnovers that we had, 2 missed kicks, and to lose by 2 points. I'll take it.
I'll take it too.
Hey, you know what though? I'm going to say something that's old school. Saying you were close only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes. And that game was neither. All right, enjoy your meeting, Jay.
This shows you, man. The Vikings lay down. That's all.
Yeah.
They lay down. They don't have the killer instinct in them. They don't have it.
Matt saying he's missed 3 more games. I thought it was a 4-week DL. This is the second game he's missed. I thought it was a 4-week. Not.
When did he go down? I thought he went down in week 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the second game he's missed. I thought he has 2 more games.
So
well, I guess we'll find out.
2 game, 3 week 3 week 4. He's missed 2 so far. So
yeah, he's missed 2.
Because they've played a different quarterback every game so far, trying to figure it out.
I was going to say, and they haven't found one yet that can do it.
No, they really haven't. Hey, to those that are watching on X real quick, believe it or not, you can comment. As I've proven here a few times by commenting on different shows. You just gotta click it open and there'll be a live chat on the right. You won't see the chat flowing, but you can leave comments. They will show up here on the screen. I have noticed this though with X. Every so often it'll drop a comment that won't come through, but the drop rate's pretty low. So if you're on X and want to be a part of the show, definitely start drop us a comment. But you can't drop it like a normal comment, like you would on a normal tweet. You've actually got to open it up where it's just the show, and then you'll see the live. Let's say like live comment stream will be on the right. You can type in your comment, and this way you can be more part of the show. Good morning, Mike. We're going to double check that, Matt. I think that's what Ken's doing right now. I think he's looking it up right now, actually, as a matter of fact. I can hear him typing feverishly. So he's like, what the hell is doing that? Yeah, they beat the Sea Chickens. I didn't really get to watch much of the game. Other things, I got a certain who's having
What's
his
up,
one
Homer?
birthday today, so been a little preoccupied last night.
All right, you guys got your big win out of the way now. You're done for the season.
They're done for the season. That's right.
No more big wins.
Oh, there you go. You knew someone was going to say it.
There's no controversy.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Only in Casualville.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. I can understand the why there'll be Packer fans out there who will say that, right? Because Willis is won 2 games and Love has lost 2 games. Therefore, okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah. Malik Willis would be 2-2. That's what he'd be right now. If he was playing all 4 of those games, he'd be 2-2.
Yeah.
Good morning, Rob.
There is a report that he will be back week 8.
Who?
A report.
Tua.
Oh, for what's his name?
IR? I thought they originally reported it was a 4-week IR. That's interesting. Okay, well, week 8. Geez.
That's half the season.
Yeah, season's gonna be over.
Yeah, with the way the Dolphins are playing without him.
You know, Mike. I mean, all right. Let's get into some Bears trades real quick because I haven't heard the Keenan Allen thing, and I agree with you. That would be stupid because even when he's not playing, you can see how much he's coaching and mentoring Rome, and I bet he's a big part of some of the early successes that Caleb's having. I think the way things are shaping out right now, I'll go back, Mike, to something you said a couple weeks ago before the season, and that's that Khalil Herbert's. I think if they're going to trade anyone, it's Khalil Herbert, but I still think that it's more of a trade deadline thing, and it's a guy they can get. If they can trade Herbert to a non-contending team, if we're still in contention, right? If we're in playoff contention, if they can trade him to a non-contending team for a right guard or a center or an offensive line piece, I think then that'd be the only way you trade a player on the current roster for the Bears.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Swift's going to get injured and fuck that up for you, and he'll be the guy because as soon as you trade him, you know Swift's going to go down, bro.
And see, that's the other reason why I've been against that kind of idea. Right now, you've got a protection, right? You got Herbert. If Swift goes down, then you're fine. You're still fine. You still got a good running back.
Good morning, Joseph.
What's up, guys?
What's up there, Joe?
I love that. Rob is trolling CMC fans. Huge shout out to CMC on behalf of everyone who picked the number 1 overall in fantasy. I hope your dog runs away and finds a better owner.
You could argue that CMC brought this one on himself after being injured his first time on the Madden cover and being on it the second time saying, I don't believe in the curse. While apparently the curse believes in you.
Holy shit. Yeah, bro. He challenged the curse openly.
Yep.
It's a real thing, bro. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know if there's someone out there hitting these guys, but it's a real thing.
It just gives them more time to make TV commercials.
All right. Called out the curse, bro. That's what happened.
From the most recent report, it sounds like all he's going to be doing is TV commercials for.
Bro, he's looking for a doc and clear him.
He's got tendonitis in both Achilles.
Oh, God.
Yep.
You know what's funny about injury time? With how players approach it. I mean, they do their rehab, they do what they're supposed to do, but if you collect sportsmen, you all of a sudden, like when Roquan Smith was hurt for the Bears, man, the market got flooded with signed Roquan helmets. Why? Because these guys have time, and the promoter's like, hey, want an easy $5,000 for 2 hours or $10,000, whatever they pay the guy for 2 hours? Because the way the promoters pay these guys for signing stuff is it's an hour based, right? Like I pay you X amount of dollars for an hour, you sign everything I put in front of you. Okay, watch the markets get flooded with CMC helmets, jerseys, photos. They're gonna just flood the market with CMC stuff now. Guaranteed. So if you want anything signed by CMC, now's the time. I guarantee he's doing a signing a week, I swear. That's what they do, and then they do their TV commercials.
Now we're going to say you got to fill that time somehow.
Yes, Jeremy, I spoke on your perfect game last night by your quarterback. We talked about that this morning. You weren't here yet. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, Mike, he didn't play a single down against the Rams, and I think that's because Swift and Rojo, and I'm Rojo, man. Oh, Rashawn Johnson looking good. No timeline for his CMC return. Yeah, I heard a couple weeks ago it's a season thing. Yeah, you just hate to have him be rushed back and have a career ender because of it.
Well, it already sounds like his body's working on ending his career.
Yeah,
and that's not even a joke or anything. That's
no,
just his body seems to be wearing out on him.
And look, for a running back, he's had a pretty good career if you think about it compared to most running backs. Bengals could use Herbert. Yeah. But, I mean, the Bengals are done. So, I mean, we're waiting 4 or 5 weeks for that trade to happen. I mean, dude, you're 0-4. You're done.
No, they won. They're 1-3. Yeah.
You're almost done. And I mean,
now watch that we said that they're going to go on a tear now.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, how about the guaranteed Bears when I called? Yeah, but man, if they didn't win, what were you backing the guarantee up with? I mean, were we all getting free Portillos, or I mean, what were we getting if your guarantee? What was the warranty on your guarantee? I guess that's what I'm asking.
He's sending out a free half ounce of flour to everybody.
Oh my God! So what was the other game yesterday? We had the Sea Chickens and the Lions, and then
oh damn! We're sorry to hear that. Glad you're all right though.
It was the
Titans. Gosh! Oh, the Titans game. That's right. Josh in South Carolina. Yeah. I hope you're doing well. No power. Wow. I thought it was a little quiet the last couple days. So Josh didn't have to watch the Packers lose. He didn't even see it. Look at Josh. There was an upside to it. Look, I'm just trying to find a silver lining for him.
See, that's why we lost, because Josh wasn't able to watch the game. If he was able to watch it, it would have given him enough mojo. So we're blaming the hurricane now for it.
Oh, yeah, Josh was he was going to buy you a jersey. He was the one who said he's going to get you an Aaron Jones jersey. Ain't heard from him since.
Yeah, I know. Well, now he's back, so I want my jersey, man. Where's my jersey? Want my jersey, man? Nah, he's good. He's in South Carolina. He's probably fixing shit. Guy, have you seen the pictures of it? I mean, not to switch the subject to off football, but have you guys seen some of the pictures of the Asheville area? There was one picture. I don't know about the legitimacy of it, but it looked like it might be accurate. It showed a picture of like a road, and you had all the little shops on the side and the cars parked there, right? Pre-hurricane. Post-hurricane, everything was gone. Like, literally, everything was gone. It just looked like an open field. But where the road and the clearing was now mud, right? I was like, did it? I mean, it's just some of the stuff we're seeing out of there. Wow. I mean, we're used to hurricanes in Florida, but, people got to remember, for, like, places like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, the inland places, a hurricane hits them a lot different. Like, yeah, we get storm surge, right? Tampa Bay got, in some areas, 10 feet of storm surge. Yeah, it's massively destructive. But you know what, though? The storm passes, and within a couple hours, it recedes. Mm-hmm. It goes right back to the Gulf of Mexico. But when these guys get surge up there, it's river, stream, lake surge, and that shit doesn't dissipate for a while.
Yeah, and then not only that is you guys on the coast have a lot more building fortifications for it. Like, your specs are meant to handle a little bit more. To our inland, it's holy shit. We just got hit out of nowhere.
They build more for tornadoes, but like here it's a Cat 2. You got to be able to withstand
100 mile an hour wind versus 100 mile an hour wind with a wall of water is massively different.
No. That's how you have to build here. It's for Cat 2, which would be 100. just over 110 mile per hour sustained, I think, is what the code is. But the water, dude, you can't really defend against water as far as building codes. I mean, you can and you can't, but I mean, dude, it's just like when they get hit, it's different because like when they get that overflow of water, it's more from rivers, streams, so it's coming at them usually with a lot more force. It stays a lot longer. Whereas here on the coast, yeah, we'll get storm surge. Yeah, it'll be highly destructive, but it goes away relatively quick. You know, within a day or two, you're clean. The area's been cleaned up or working on getting clean. Whereas up there, dude, they're still underwater. You know, like they're legit still underwater because you have to wait for the rivers and everything to recede, and that takes time.
And JB, I absolutely don't want to sit him now. He's working off that rust from being out for the 2 weeks, and he's starting to get more confidence in the knee. I think shutting him down would reverse the process.
And Mike, I don't know. I mean, every quarterback wants to be in the game. I mean, he sat there with his helmet on, looking kind of pissed. I did see that part of the game, but if he's hurt, man. I mean, if I'm the Titans and he's legit hurt, and they'll do an MRI today probably, and if he's got a legit anything wrong with him, soft tissue injury, whatever, you rest him. I mean, that's just what you do, right? I mean,
I think they do, man.
And honestly, I'm against sitting a quarterback in the beginning of his career once he's already started. But Will Levis could be one of the few guys that might get some type of boost from sitting that, hey,
taking a break.
You got to figure this shit out, dude.
Nah, he's done. He's done.
Look at him. He's done.
And
He's a bum.
He's like that bum love.
At the end of last year, he did not look bad.
Yeah. All right, man. Maybe, but he's not looking good right now. I'm gonna tell you that.
Oh, absolutely. I won't argue that point.
I mean, we talking about bust over there in North Carolina, or in Carolina. There, I mean, is he a bust? Everybody thinks he is.
You know what? I don't think he's a bust.
A couple seasons in, bro. I mean,
this is what a second season.
Yeah,
second season. Well, how many years is Levis been starting?
Usually 3 to 4.
Right?
At 3 to 4 years is when you can really call it. I mean, he's made some bad plays, but he's also kind of kept them in games. I think it's kind of a mixed bag.
Some guys should just accept the fact they're probably going to be a career backup. That's all they're going to ever be.
Dude, the guy's got,
like JB just said, he's only started 10 games.
How many is? I say again, the
guy has ridiculous arm talent too. Like, dude's got a cannon.
Yeah.
You know, if he can just learn to not dump those stupid shovel passes, he'd be all right.
I think fans need to realize, man, like all these young quarterbacks, man, it takes time to develop these kids. I mean, not all of them can come in and look like, do what C.J. Stroud did. Even C.J. Stroud started off the year last year as a rookie, a little but look at, I mean, and you can't look at Jordan Love because his first year starting was actually year 4 in the league. He had been in the league for 4 years, maybe not playing, but in practices, he did get some garbage time. He got preseason games. He got all that kind of, so he had experience in coaching. It takes time to build these quarterbacks up. And I think it's unfair that NFL fans say, well, I got a quarterback in the first round. He should be perfect. No, he's still a rookie. He's still a young guy. Will Levis has 10 games under his belt. That's it, 10 games. And for a good quarterback, 10 games is nothing in terms of how long of a career.
Well, Richardson,
but everyone expects him to be like Rodgers and these guys who've been in the league for 4, 5, 6, 8 years. Day one, it's like, dude, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Maybe if he goes to another team, it's working out for Fields. I mean, sometimes it does. You go to another, like it's working out for Baker Mayfield.
Mayfield wasn't a same thing. But Fields was but those are two bad examples in a way, though, Rob. Because look let's go to Mayfield. Mayfield was not a bust in Cleveland. Mayfield resurrected Cleveland, and they just did him dirty. If you look at Fields wasn't really a bust in Chicago. We saw that with his numbers progressively going up across the board every year. So he wasn't a bust.
That, but
no, I mean,
he never even hit 3,000 yards, though, man.
The numbers prove it, though. But the numbers prove he wasn't a bust because he kept ascending. He wasn't descending. So from that standpoint, it's situation with
There was a lot of
Fields
bus talk, though.
well,
There was a lot
that's
of
because
bus
fans
talk.
are stupid, Joe. I mean, let's be honest. That's what we're talking about here. From a statistical standpoint, which is what they measure by, Fields was not a bust. His stats went up every year. They went up. He didn't decline. For him, it might have been more of a situational. Get him out of Chicago to a better situation where he can expand even further, but he wasn't a bust. So when you're talking about Will Levis here in Tennessee, kid's got 10 games, right? He's got 4 starts this year, the last 6 games last year. It's way too early to call him a bust. Way too early. And that's the point I'm making
A-Dub's
here.
got a good point there, A-Dub. He's like, he should watch how Collar plays, because that's right. He's kind of a dwarf too, ain't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways of coping. Look, I'm not saying look, right now he looks like a bust, man. If he doesn't do something to change up the way he's playing, he's a fucking bust. That's
Mm-hmm.
how it is.
I mean,
I'm
he
sure
can
Fields had
be.
to adjust. I'm sure, and all these guys, you have to make some adjustments somewhere, man.
I mean, he could be a bust, but I think it's too early to call him a bust. I can understand people say, well, I can understand if they take your tack, Rob, and say, well, if he doesn't change, he's going to be a bust. Okay, that might be fair, right, to say. If he keeps on this trajectory, he's going to be a bust. Okay, that might be fair to say because his numbers are supporting that right now.
I'm going to tell you what's going to come of this. If Fields turns out to be good over there, it's just going to heighten the fact that you guys fucking don't know how to develop a quarterback. That's going to be
that's not what it. Well, that's not what it's going to heighten. It's going to heighten the fact that he was in a bad situation in Chicago with no offensive line and weaponry, and now he's at a team that can actually protect him and gave him, the opportunities to actually make the throws. I mean, that's not necessarily about not developing the quarterback because, statistically, his numbers, went up every season. The problem in Chicago was no O-line support. I don't care what quarterback you throw in there. If you don't have a good O-line, it doesn't really matter.
Bro,
if the guy's on his back or running for his life every snap, it doesn't really matter how good of a quarterback he is because you've taken that away from him and turned him into a running back or a guy who's trying to create magic out of nothing. So I mean, I think what that would speak more to is how bad
Fields
the
got
O-line
out right in time, dude. Fields got out just in time because, being honest, the talk was starting to swirl, dude. Like on ESPN and like even JB was pointing it out. NFL Network, the pundits are like, "Is this guy a bust? I don't know, but it's starting to look that way." And then he gets out and he, resurrected his career, dude. Like,
I mean, he went to a better situation. I think he did. He went to a better situation that he's not getting the pressure. If you look at his pressure rate this season compared to last, that number is way down. He's not getting the pressures on him like he had in Chicago. So I mean, gotta look at all those things. And right now, the O-line in Chicago is still terrible. Still terrible. So it's interesting when we look at quarterbacks. We just look at them singularly. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but I'm also saying that it's not actually 100% correct. We got to look at the line protection these guys get or don't get and what they have around them to help them succeed. Because, if you look at Patrick Mahomes, he's the opposite side of that coin. Patrick Mahomes came to a situation where he had one of the best offensive lines in the league. He had all-star weapons all the way around him, and it definitely helped his development.
Yeah. Whereas with Justin Fields, I think it's more of a scheme thing. We said it in the offseason when he got traded. I said Pittsburgh would be a great place for him because of the style of football they like to play, right? Heavy on the run, and then, let him throw play actions and stuff, but don't put it on him to throw 35, 40 times a game, I thought he could succeed there, and other guys did as well. But I think, that goes both ways. Like, what if he leaves Pittsburgh? Does he go back to being a bust? Sometimes guys just find a good situation, the right situation for them is what I'm saying. And I think Fields found that. It's like look at Geno Smith. Geno Smith was widely considered career backup.
Yeah,
he went to Seattle and revived his career. Why? Did he all of a sudden get good, or did they tailor their offense to what he does well and use that?
And there's another thing that you have a bad offensive line as a young quarterback versus having a bad offensive line as an older seasoned quarterback. I think the older seasoned quarterbacks do much better with a bad offensive line than a young one does, right? Because the game is slowed down differently for them. You know, that when we look at these young quarterbacks, they like Young in Carolina went to a horrible offensive line, right? And if you look at the guys that we call busts and you look at their other stats, look at their pressures. How much were they pressured? And you'll find that these guys all have massively huge pressure rates, meaning their O-line gave them next to zero protection. I mean, that's an impact. And national media and fans necessarily don't see that. People say that because why? We focus on the quarterback. We don't focus on the others. We really don't. I mean, that's just honestly, we don't. I get why we do, but we really need to focus. Like, why is Bryce Young? Why are his numbers so bad as a young quarterback? Well, the guy has zero experience at this level and has no line, and so all he can do is try to play backyard football. And then you bring in the Rocket, and he does better. Well, he's got the experience to deal with it. Young does not have the experience to deal with it.
Do you guys think that Pittsburgh is going to sign Fields long term after what he showed?
They very well could.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're going to let the season play out. We're only 4 games in.
Oh, absolutely. But if it continues,
but I mean, if his trajectory stays like it is, if he's if he's winning them games and stuff, do you think they go draft one, or because Russ is
he's not costing it them games. So as long as that doesn't happen, he's just going to. Because I mean, if they lose, they lose. But if it's not because of his play, they're never gonna move off him. I wouldn't.
Well, I think already he's better than Kenny Pickett already.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%, yeah.
I think with Fields is like he's got enough protection now where he's
bro. You have to benefit something if you're playing behind a no offensive line for 3 seasons, bro. I mean, you got to learn something from that.
And I think that's it because you look at like Pittsburgh's line isn't great, it's better, and it's better enough that Fields can now be comfortable because of the hell he went through in Chicago.
Yeah,
to be honest, right? That hell he had in Chicago with no line. Now he's got a line that can somewhat protect him, or at least give him enough protection where now he's more capable of doing things. And that
isn't Fields due for a contract?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, because they didn't pick up his 5th year.
They didn't pick up his 5th year option.
Yeah, so at the end of the year, he's a free agent. That's what I'm saying. Like, do you really want to risk letting him
they'll sign him. Like Jeremy said, they'll sign him before.
Yeah, the trade deadline. I'm thinking like you get something done.
Well, they don't have to. They can look. They can franchise tag him. They've got that period after their season is over and the new season begins. They've got to what, March, right?
Yeah, but that franchise tag is going to be expensive because you take the top 5 salaries at quarterback and you average it out.
This 5th year option was going to be $25 million. So
yeah, but the franchise tag is going to be like $45 million or $50 million.
But you know what though? According to Spotrac, before he was traded, he was looking at being worth $48 million a year. So I mean, that's what Spotrac had, and then the trade happened. But for a starting quarterback in this league, that's probably about accurate. For an average to middle of the road quarterback in this league, that's probably going to be the accurate number between 40 and 50 million. Somewhere in there is what almost all these guys are going to get.
Jeremy says the 5th year, they declined the 5th year. The top 5 is $53 million. The average of the top 5 salaries is 53. So that's Jordan Love money.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, because these guys raised that bar up so high that, is Fields worth $53 million a year? Probably not by our standards.
Yeah, I was just going to say Dak's contract gave him a little pay raise too. Good on you, Justin Fields. Good for you, buddy.
I mean, it makes Kirk Cousins dude. Look at it. Makes Cousins' contract look cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, they raised the bar up so high that, like, dude, think about it. Think about some of these like middle of the road quarterbacks out there that right now are making $15 million. Their next payday, if they get re-signed as a starter, is going to be in the 40s or 50s.
See, A-Dub says that he thinks Pittsburgh will draft a quarterback still and keep Fields as a means of having a quality backup. But
That's because
I
Wilson's
think
going to leave.
why waste
That's
your
why.
first round pick on a quarterback when you have a guy who's winning games for you?
Right.
Why not use that first round pick and address your offensive line or another receiver, something that can help add weapons to your team, right?
Joe, it's the dilemma of the mystery box.
Yeah.
No, you know what though? I think the Bears though, and a couple other teams have proved though they don't even have to spend a draft pick on a backup quarterback. There are a lot of these guys that teams are picking up out of 2A schools. Hell, look at the Bears quarterback room. Outside of Caleb, both their backups were undrafted free agent rookies.
Oh yeah,
You don't even have to spend a draft pick to get a quality backup anymore.
I was gonna say we ran with a couple of undrafted rookies for our backups for a lot of years.
See, the thing is though, is like I get what A-Dub is saying though. Like it makes sense from a financial perspective. It just doesn't, for me, it doesn't make sense from a football perspective. Like if you have a guy who's already winning for you, but from a financial perspective, it makes sense. If you don't think that your team is ready to compete for Super Bowls, then you don't have $53 million to pay a quarterback. You're better off drafting one, resetting the quarterback pay scale on your team and adding talent around them. Right. Like, so it depends on where Pittsburgh thinks they are. Does Pittsburgh think that they're ready to compete for Super Bowls?
I think Bear Down Mike asked, would you give him a 2 or 4 year deal? Well, you give him a 4 year deal. That's obvious. The 2 year deal, like Love had that bridge deal, I think that's situational. For a guy like Fields, you give him a 4 year deal where after 2 years you can cut and run.
That's right.
And not have the big downside. I think it's a 4 year deal for Fields or any quarterback. It's a starting quarterback now that gets re-signed. Those deals are all going to be at least 4 years, but they're going to be structured in ways where at year 3 you can cut and run and not have a big dead cap space. I mean, but Fields is going to get a contract there, and he's going to be the starter. And if he gets a contract, well, let me say this: if Fields does get a contract there, which right now it appears that that's what the case is going to be, I think all of us on the panel would agree that looks like it's going to be that.
Okay, see, I got A-Dub's comment wrong. He wasn't saying use a first round pick. He was saying use a later round pick on a backup. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Moving on from Russ.
My bad, A-Dub.
Yeah, so I mean, if we all think Fields right now, if it stays the way it is, Fields gets a contract, that's a minimum 4 year deal. And then they'll structure it in a way that at year 3 or year 4, if it doesn't work out, they can cut and run without taking a huge.
You can give him a nice incentive-laden contract for 4 years, bro. He can really make some change. If he balls out,
he's gonna get paid. Actually, him going to Pittsburgh made him more money because look at his money this year didn't change from what he was going to get in Chicago. They denied his 5th-year option, which just got him about a $20 million raise. The 5th-year option was going to be $25 million. Now he's probably going to get $45 million for next year. So he gets a $20 million raise because Chicago trades him. I mean, Justin Fields at the end of the day will be thanking Chicago for getting rid of him. Financially speaking, he's going to be thanking the Bears because now he's going to get a 4 year deal that's probably worth at least, the contract will be worth at least $100 million over the 4 years, right? And he wouldn't get that. He probably wasn't going to get that.
It's probably going to be closer to $200 million over 4 years, but only like 100 guaranteed, 100 something. But also, he's also thanking Chicago because Pittsburgh managed to make him look like a passer.
Yeah.
Like his passing game has improved in Pittsburgh. Like, his short accuracy has gotten much better. Like he always had the long ball. He always had like a really nice deep ball. I always said that about him. Yep. Like he can put it right on your hands. It's 50, 60 yards, but like his short game has gotten a lot better.
And I think though what it does, if you're a Bears fan looking at this one, well, what the hell? Why didn't we get this out, Justin? Simple. Protection. He's protected better in Pittsburgh than he was in Chicago. He's not running for his life every play. So if you're a Bears fan, well, why is Justin doing good things in Pittsburgh? Why wasn't he doing this here? Simple. O-line. And we're seeing that now, and Bears fans are actually bitching about the O-line, which is good. They should be bitching about the O-line. But if you look at the difference for Fields, That's a huge piece of that difference. He's got better protection. And I think with Bryce Young, if Bryce Young goes to another team that can protect him better, you'll see improvement out of Young. You go, well, why was he so bad in Carolina? Protection, or the lack therefore of.
I'm curious. Jeremy says Pittsburgh is my sleeper spot for something to land. I don't know.
Yeah, the comic cuts. You gotta open up the actual
For
book.
Cooper to land.
Amari Cooper.
Oh, Amari Cooper.
Oh, I don't know.
You think Cleveland trades him in the division though?
Yeah,
Well, he played terribly this week.
They might actually, because he's dropping everything.
He's showing that he's kind of washed up in Cleveland.
Cooper's always been Cooper, man. He disappears in games and he drops passes. Like when he's on, he can go for 200 yards, but he's more off than on. That's the problem.
Going to fields and coaching, I don't know if he's got better coaching, to be honest with you. I mean, look, the one thing that you can measure is offensive line play, and the Pittsburgh offensive line has been better than what he had in Chicago. That's immeasurable.
To go to coaching point, Fields also had 3 different offensive coordinators, didn't he?
Yeah.
So that would say that coaching wasn't that great if they're constantly.
Well, but the quarterback coach, so he had the same quarterback coach, I think, for a couple of those years. But yeah, I mean, then you go to OCs and the play schemes. But I mean, the one thing that you can actually measure, though, there's only one thing that's measurable, unfortunately. Like we can say that. I don't know. Maybe he's Andrew's right to a degree, but that's hard to measure. The only thing that we can measure, right, is the stat lines, and the protection is the measurable we can see. And then the other thing, we can look at the play calls, and you could say that he's getting better play calls in Pittsburgh than he got in Chicago. And I'd probably
that's what I was going to say is that it's not just play calls; it's the offense is more geared towards his strengths. Like, so that's a part of coaching, like doing what your players do best. Like I think that they're giving him an opportunity to really showcase what he can do, and not asking him to do too much of what he's not good at.
Yeah, and JB, no, it's
and
not.
Bear Down Mike, you're crazy, dude. How many times do we have to go through this thing with Devontae, dude?
I know. Well, it's like JB and his comments. Like, come on with the stupidity, man. It's like all I'm saying is, JB, is that we don't know if that's the difference for Fields, because there are measurables and immeasurables. And the measurables obviously are making a huge impact. I mean, the coaching he got in Chicago might have been adequate as far as the individual.
Why don't you ask Bear fans? Ask other Bear fans. Bear fans, do you think coaching is terrible?
No, well, let me finish the thought before you cut me off at the knees there. I'm saying, like, yeah, man, no shit. I'm like, the coaching he got as a quarterback, like, positional coaching, might have been adequate. The play calling definitely sucked, right? So from that aspect, he's getting better coaching. He's getting better play calling in Pittsburgh. But I'm talking about the developmental coaching that he got from the quarterback coach, that I don't know, I would say, because Pittsburgh doesn't really have, the big track record on that when the guy just got rid of, they had that coaching. Pickett's gone, and Pickett didn't look that great, and they couldn't do anything with Mitch either. So I think those scheme-wise, they have a better scheme for him. So, well, that's like, look, I can say that the Lions have a history of bad team development, period.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't be wrong.
Oh.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Green Bay has a history of getting there but not being able to get the job done.
Yep.
Did that too.
Plenty of times.
I mean,
recent history, yeah.
I mean, over 40 years, how many playoff appearances with only 2 trips?
Was he Joseph? Were you there?
So.
Because dominant quarterback play in the early 50s, man, was 100 yards for probably 3 games, bro. Come on, man.
Matt's comment is good too.
I mean, bro, I love your dedication there, but bro, come on, man. In the early days, football was run, maybe pass, run, maybe pass.
Nagy's a better coach now than he was back then. He learned from his time in Chicago. I think he's doing a better job as an OC in KC this run than he actually did last time. I think he learned from his errors in Chicago, which is what you should do when you become a head coach and screw the pooch, and then go back to being a positional then OC. Is you should learn. But you look at a certain other coach who's done that, and he's ruined 2 franchises now. He hasn't learned.
Yeah. Some coaches make better coordinators, and some coaches need that second shot at it because that first time they just weren't. I wouldn't say they weren't ready, but maybe it's that they were expecting it to be different.
I think if KC wins and Reed retires, I think Nagy's heir apparent in Kansas City. And
That would be my.
And I think for him that's perfect. It might actually work for the team, but I think Nagy would be.
What about Steve Spagnuolo?
I don't think he wants to leave Kansas City, man.
I don't think.
No. I'm saying once Andy Reid retires, that if he becomes the head coach, because he didn't do too bad with the Giants. Granted, he wasn't great.
You know what? That's a good call. I don't know if it's like take me or I'm gone. The other one's like, well, I don't mind staying a coordinator. Then it becomes simple. But
Belichick's holding out for Reed's retirement. That's all. Belichick's holding out for that. He wants the KC job. Belichick wants it, bro. He's waiting.
That's
I
the
could
last
say
thing
the Bears fixed their front office. I think most people would say that.
Belichick wants Mahomes as his final QB for his career.
I think if Belichick and Mahomes got together, that marriage would end in divorce within 3 to 5 years. Because I think Belichick is too old school for
too rigid.
Mahomes is.
He's too rigid.
Yeah, but they'd also have 5 more
25-year-old girlfriend, bro. He's figured it out.
Like they need. Here's the difference between let's say Reed and Belichick. Belichick is very rigid. Here's my offense. Here's how you will run it. Reed is like, hey guys, why don't you every week come up with a play on your own and we'll put it in the game. That's part of their culture. Culturally, they're completely different. Belichick's culture does not fit with Andy Reid's current culture with this team. I mean, come on, how many times have we seen this? Because they always make a big deal about it in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. They always talk about the culture and they show how the players designed to play and then they got to use the play in the game. And that's the culture of Kansas City. When did you ever hear about that with Belichick? You don't.
Oh, Mike, you're speaking fucking. You better watch it. Ken's gonna hunt you down, bro.
Oh, I'm not.
We talking
Mike's
shit
been
on
talking that shit since last year, and I'm like, whatever.
Better watch it, man. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, look, I think it's pretty obvious that the problem in Chicago is there's a single point of failure, and I think with Chicago you can literally say there's a single point of failure right now, and that is that the offensive line is the single point of failure which is driving the offense to lack of success. And it's evident and clear and everyone sees it. The question is going to be is if the Bears can adjust and improve it throughout the season. And if they can't, I think you might find some positional, like line coach who's been there for 3 years, he might be gone, stuff like that. But if the play calling, which improved last week, and I do like that Waldron took ownership of the bad play calling in Indianapolis, and they had a meeting with offensive leaders, and the players, offensive players, leaders, and they fixed and they made adjustments. So I don't think that seat's even warm, but there is a single point of failure in Chicago, and that is the offensive line, and they got to find a way to fix it. I mean, yeah, Mike and I have been going rounds on Plus. He just doesn't like him. He wants an offensive-minded coach. I'm like, that's fine. But, here's the thing. Whether you have an offensive-minded coach or a defensive-minded head coach, it really doesn't matter. Because that one side of the ball is probably going to be okay, but what happens is then the other side of the ball usually suffers unless you have a really good coordinator. And I'll say this. Finding a really good defensive coordinator might be easier than finding a really good offensive coordinator in the league right now today. I will give him that argument.
The only thing that matters are wins, bro. He gets lots of wins. They don't give a fuck what kind of coach he is. They just want wins. They want to win.
If the defense is top 5 and the offense is sputtering, and they can say, "Hey, this is the single point of failure, and it's demonstrable," and they can say without a doubt this is the reason why, then I think that also saves jobs of like Shane Waldron and other people. And they say, okay, we're gonna throw everything at this issue, and we're gonna bring in the resources you need. And now if you can't, and now that we've fixed everything, if you screw it up, you're gone. I could see that more of a situation playing out than because you can point to the single point of failure right now in that Bears offense. It's the offensive line. It's clear and obvious to everyone.
And I don't think you could really fire Eberflus with a rookie quarterback. Like, it's his first year. You're gonna fire him in Caleb's rookie year. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Bro, I'm telling you.
And it keeps the cycle that Poles said he's trying to break.
I'm telling you, Poles is a genius for one thing. He kept Flus around, so if this season tanks, he's got someone to throw under the bus. So he sticks around for another year, bro.
He hired.
And that's what I mean, bro. He'll blame it on his ass and throw his ass under the bus. Look at this, the coach. God damn it.
But here's the thing you got to look at with Flus. Coming into this week's game, we were ranked 7th in the NFL defensive. I haven't looked at a new PFF to see where we fall now, but we're still in the top 10. He's made that defense the top 10 defense, right? The problem right now is the single point of failure is the offensive line. Okay, let me give you the resources, and then if you can't fix it, you're gone, right? I mean, that makes more sense to me than saying he's on the hot seat this year. It really does.
Yeah, and we're doing well there, Steve. Glad to see you on.
Yeah, Steve.
Somebody asked way back in the comments, somebody asked, what does Cleveland do with Watson? And I think that's an interesting question because they have a lot of dead money if they cut him. But how can you just continue to like trot that out there on the field?
Trash. That's how trash they're going to put the.
I mean, like at this point, it's obvious that the Deshaun Watson experiment has failed miserably.
I mean, they could just have a masseuse walk by his house and whatever happens, happens.
I think they're looking for a way to get out of that contract. They really are. And Andrew, I'll get to you in a second. I see yours.
Yeah, they're waiting for another case to come up, and I read that there's actually possibly some more pending cases, which he didn't tell them about.
Oh, and that gives them
their out. Yeah, yep. That's their out. Is like if he wasn't completely honest with them about every single case that could potentially come up, they can get out of that contract.
Yeah. And I like that Philip brings up this point because I know we're going between.
They really did expand.
Bears have the longest home winning streak in the NFL right now at 7 games. They have the longest home winning
streak. They
didn't
give him an extension.
Games. No, they didn't. They gave him. Well, I think I think the problem that Cleveland has is it's an all guaranteed contract. And
I'm pretty sure what Matt's talking about is they restructured his contract before the start of this year. I think
but it wasn't. Yeah, it's not an extension.
Well,
yeah, I think it might have added dead years.
Yeah,
it's still a restructure. Yes.
Yeah, if it's a restructure, it's an extension. Like,
and I'm sorry, JB and Andrew. I mean, Foles is not the issue in that front office. And I know you asked, well, if they know what the problem is, why haven't they fixed it? I think they thought, and you listen to Foles at the end of Hard Knocks, they liked their offensive line. They thought they fixed it. Now some things have happened. The guy they brought in to be the right guard has landed himself on the IR.
Okay, well, then doesn't that save their fall on somebody in the
well,
didn't see their O-line was that bad?
I mean, they brought in people, and unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond Foles' control, he can't control if the guy got hurt. The guy got hurt in the IR. The season's not over yet. They're still doing some things. Because you look at all the other moves Foles has made for this team. Look what he did defensively. He goes and signs a guy away from Seattle, right, before the season starts, and this guy's already got 4 sacks on the year.
But here's my point: you think your defense is pretty good, right? I mean, you think it is. So when they're in practice and they're playing 7 on 11 on 11s, they're not seeing that there's a hole in their offensive line when their own defense, can break through.
I think they know there's a hole and they're trying to address it. I think the problem is some of the pieces they had in place pre-week 1, right? They said, okay, this is going to work, and then they get hurt, and now they don't got those pieces, and Nate Davis was the starting right guard by default. He was the only guy they had at the time. He got benched last week until Tevin Jenkins gets hurt. Now he's forced back into service, not because we wanted to play Nate Davis, because we have no choice due to injuries. The problem the Bears have offensive line is they brought people in, they brought what they thought they had for depth, and it hasn't worked. And I mean, some of that you can put on the GM. Some of it is not the GM's fault that people get hurt. I mean, you can't predict injuries, right?
No, but
so I mean,
one could say-
there is a little bit there, but if you look at him in totality, the totality of how he's built this team, he's done an overall phenomenal job. He's got one weakness still to address, but he's fixed an entire football franchise.
How ironic! He's an offensive lineman, and that's the biggest, weakest link in his
That
fucking thing. That's ironic, bro.
That is the ironic piece.
That's fucking.
Sweat hasn't been practicing much in this year because he's been injured. JB, I mean, he's been injured, so he has not been playing the reps, practicing as hard. That's everything too. Is like when you're not practicing Sweat.
Flacco's back in the. Flacco is back, bro.
Yeah,
I was
he's
like,
back.
that motherfucker just don't die. He's like a roach. You can't stomp him out. You can't.
So when it comes to the offensive line, let's see how they progress. That is the weak point in Chicago. Let's see how they progress. They looked better last week. They got the run game going better too, and that's going to help. So let's see. I mean, dude, we're at week 4. It's way too. If we were 0-4, I could see having the discussion. But being at 2-2 with a 7-game home win streak, and a top 10 defense, way too early for that discussion. Come talk to me if we're 5-10. Then what? Then it's a better discussion.
And if you're at 500 and 4 weeks in, I mean, I don't know, man. Is it? Yeah, I'd rather be 4-0, but
Yeah. Yeah. Flacco, though Flacco will be good for them. Look at in that situation though, Flacco is going to be good for them short term, but long term, the grind will get on.
Flacco is the greatest backup quarterback in NFL history. That guy can go anywhere, back up anybody, and he's going to be successful, bro. I just don't get it. Holy shit.
Actually, Darnell Wright is still pretty good, Joe. PFF grades show that. So the one thing that he needs to correct this year, though, is his aptitude for catching laundry. Flacco, though, and going back to Flacco's going to be good for 2 or 3 weeks, but the grind will catch on him. The older backups like him, he's going to be good. He's a savvy older quarterback, but you got to figure the grind will catch up to him if he has to start 10 weeks or the rest of the season. The grind will catch him. It's easy to come off the bench and look good. Do it for 6-7 weeks.
He did it last year.
How many weeks? What week did he come in though?
He came in for like the last 6 or 7 games.
It wasn't the last. It wasn't like the last 4 or 5 regular season and 2 playoffs.
Well, that's 7 games.
That's 7 games. So I can't see him going for 10 games.
Small sample size, but
yeah. Yeah, it is about that time for JB's show. Hey, thank you for everyone for joining. Don't forget JB and his.
Thanks for showing Homer.
Yeah, his Homer show is next, where they're going to Homer out over how great the Lions and Jared Goff was yesterday.
Jared Goff was phenomenal, bro.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll be on the same bat time, same bat channels. Don't forget, if you are on X, we'd like to see your comments. You can comment from X now. That is a misnomer. You just got to open it up and put in the chat there, and they do come up. Steve, thank you for dropping by. Yeah, we're sorry about the Dorn incident. He will no longer be seen or a problem. We can't have one of our castmates doing what he did. And yeah, I mean, just happy you guys were all here. Enjoy your Tuesday. I've got a little man who's turning 1 today, so I'm gonna go spoil him rotten and do what Pop does, spoil the boy rotten on his birthday. And on that, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Deuces.
Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Enians. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show,